All right, hey Michael. So the trail arm. I've seen a bunch on this, and some of the ways that some of the Morad guys like it. Obviously, there's going to be some variation in what this looks like and some great golf swings. But in terms of what I feel is going on, I look at how the hands and arms work in terms of how I'm creating leverage to strike something. And then there's also an element of feeling where the golf club is and having control over it. So you can deliver it to the strike the way you want to. So, for instance, I think Gary Player describes it best when he talks about he wants to feel like he's getting underneath the golf club. Like he's got it leveraged up here, he's underneath it. He's not trying to put it into a position. I think that's an important point because getting loaded under the club means I know where it is and I have it and I know where to move it because I can sense exactly where I've got it leveraged at versus what does it look like on camera. So a few things are happening, obviously. In terms of the right pec, the right shoulder, the right arm, if this is my sort of baseline here, or if this is where the golf ball is, then I'm taking it back from here to here. Okay, it's parallel. I personally think that position 2, where it's parallel to the ground, parallel to the baseline, slightly 10 degrees closed, right arm's on top, and that's where the wrists and elbows and arms are going to load from. I think of it more in terms of where is the first point in the golf swing that the club feels leveraged? Where is the first point in the golf swing where the club feels light? So for instance, when I see some of the Mac O'Grady takeaway stuff, it looks a little bit more hinged at this position to me than some of the golf swings that I model, like a Nicklaus or like a Norman. Obviously that's top side of the bag, high trajectory type guys, but I see the takeaway more as nothing's really hinging. Everything's just sort of pushing away while I'm staying centered, creating width right here. And then there's a point somewhere right about here where I feel like the club gets light. And so where that point is, to me, isn't when it's parallel to the ground, it's when it's like P2.5, where the club starts to get hinged up in this direction. And that's where I feel like it's light. So what I'm feeling here is, yes, I want it to be parallel here, slightly toed down, the right arm's more on top, and then this right shoulder is still rolled forward in this direction. Now from here, the hands, arms, wrists start to load so I can get underneath this thing. And so what that feels like is I'm going, okay, I've got it light, and then I load it like this. So I'm under it. I've got it loaded. Now, obviously, there's going to be some different wrist conditions that would change some of this stuff, but I'm assuming that you have a neutral grip when I'm talking about this. So take it back to here. Okay, right there, it's light, and then from here, I'm going load, 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 load. So from about P2.5 to P3.5, there's a feeling of the wrists are loading because I'm squeezing these 3 fingers in my left hand to plane out the left wrist, and simultaneously the right wrist is getting loaded underneath, which starts to point this right elbow in this direction, which starts to load this right pec, right shoulder more in this direction, because I'm going like that to get it leveraged up top. Now from there, I've got it set up so that it reacts in front of me. I don't have it loose and sloppy so it can do whatever it wants up there. It's set up Clean, 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 clean. Okay, it's light. Now I'm loading underneath, loading underneath, loading underneath, loading underneath, loading underneath. So, in terms of what the ribs are doing there, the upper spine's rounded, okay. Still rounded here, okay. Now from here is where the upper thoracic starts to go into an extended position. It's going extended while the wrists are loading, while the elbows are squeezing together, and while I'm pushing the club away simultaneously. So it's similar to if I was gonna chop wood with an axe. I'm feeling the elbows squeeze together, the wrists load, and the arms push away while the upper spine moves from rounded to extended. So I look at that as a massive position of leverage that's set up to react that way versus do I keep the arm this way or do I roll the arm this way? I think there's more to the story. So in summary, from here to here, it's just kind of clean, straight back, right arm staying on top, upper spine still rounded, shoulders are still rolled forward. Then right about P2.5, I start to feel it get light in this direction here. Now I've got it. Now from here, right shoulder is going to start to load back, upper spine is going to move into a more extended position while the elbows are squeezing together and the wrists are loading and the arms are pushing away. So it's like this, and then it's set up to fire down in that direction. I hope this helps. The wrist conditions are big here. The feeling of planing, flattening, pushing. It's like elbows squeezed together, wrists are loading underneath the golf club, left wrist is flattening, right wrist is getting loaded, and then the upper spine is starting to extend, all while I'm pushing my arms away. Because I think the wrist angles are a byproduct of me pushing my arms away more so than me just trying to create the wrist angles. So this gets it set up so that I've got complete control of it up here. The same way I'd have complete control of an axe chopping wood, the upper spine and the arms set this up so I've got massive leverage, and then I know right where this club is because I've got it leveraged, and I know right where I'm sending it. So anyway, thanks buddy.